most e-com websites fail to think beyond the basic categories and they lose out on this huge potential. But there could be more such keywords that you aren't even aware of. These 3 simple steps will fix all your indexing problems. If you have a lucrative program, websites and influencers will flock to you rather than you having to beg them for backlinks. The functionality of your website doesn't just influence how users interact with your pages. It directly impacts how Google ranks those pages. If you are already running an e-com store and want to level up your SEO game, then this is the right video for you. I won't bore you with the basic stuff like having an SSL certificate or a responsive website. Instead, we'll look at advanced strategies that give you an edge against your competitors. These strategies are universal across all e-commerce platforms like Wix, Shopify, Squarespace, etc. They just slightly differ in implementation. Let's get started. Category pages or collection pages are like aisles in a physical store containing similar products. For example, these are the primary category pages on India's biggest fashion e-commerce website. Category pages have a much higher traffic potential than individual product pages. That's because the audience here is in the discovery stage of their buying journey, so the search volume is always higher. But most e-com websites fail to think beyond the basic categories and they lose out on this huge potential. Let's say you sell protein bars and meal replacement bars. Then these would be some of the obvious categories people might be searching for. But there could be more such keywords that you aren't even aware of. Let's go to Ahrefs and see what other potential keywords you can capture. Enter your product name in Keywords Explorer, switch to non-branded terms, and then look at the available keywords. Just ignore the search volume and try to capture as many keywords as applicable. Even keywords with 10 monthly searches can still bring you recurring customers every month. Since these are non-branded keywords, you can capture people who haven't even heard about your brand. Once you have shortlisted your keywords, create a dedicated category page for each keyword with some basic on-page SEO. This includes meta tags, schema markup, and some relevant content. Put the content at the bottom because it's mainly for search engines. No one is going to read that. Check out Amazon's category page for projectors. The content here is also a great opportunity for adding internal links with rich anchor texts. When scaling your collection pages, make sure you spread them out over weeks or even months. Too many pages too quickly can be considered spammy by Google. Next is indexing and crawl budget. If you run a small website with less than 10 products, you can safely skip this point. But if you have more SKUs, then indexing should be your topmost priority. That's because Google will only show your pages in the search results if they fall here and not here. So we must instruct their crawlers on the URLs that matter the most to us. I'm assuming you have already submitted your sitemap to GSC and Bing Webmaster Tools. But apart from sitemap, Google discovers so many URLs on your website that aren't really intended for the search audience. These URLs end up exhausting your crawl budget. Some examples are duplicate pages created by product filters and sorting, a large collection that is broken down into multiple pages. The same URL might have different versions with slight changes like these. These 3 simple steps will fix all your indexing problems. Use canonical tags to tell Google which URL is the primary version of that page, and Google will disregard all the other versions. Edit your robots.txt file to prevent crawling of unnecessary pages like cart, checkout, etc. What doesn't get crawled doesn't get indexed. Sometimes you might want to remove individual pages from the index. For example, a product page for an SKU that you have discontinued, or an internal documentation that somehow got indexed. In such cases, you can instruct the search engines by simply adding a noIndex tag to that page. Monitor your indexing report frequently to address any blunders. Especially watch out for this section. What if every website had an incentive to give you a link? And that too from their high traffic pages. That's the beauty of running an affiliate program. If you have a lucrative program, websites and influencers will flock to you rather than you having to beg them for backlinks. And the biggest potential is getting links from the websites that never sell any links or guest posts. These are pure gold. You might think affiliate links get ignored by Google, but there are programs like PAP that offer SEO-friendly affiliate links. They use hashtags in their URLs for tracking purposes. Here's how their typical affiliate link looks like. In the HTML world, hashtags are used to address a particular segment of the entire web page. For example, this link will take you to a particular heading on this page, but you're essentially linking to the same URL. Similarly, when Google bots see your affiliate links on the partner websites, they pass on the link juice. Which of these two results are you more likely to click? Probably this one, right? Because it's simply richer and more engaging. Schema markup is the code behind these rich results. It helps Google better understand the content and purpose of your pages. These are 4 essential schema tags for your e-commerce pages. First is product schema, which is also the most important one. It enhances your product listings with details such as price, availability, offers, etc. The aggregate rating schema shows star ratings and a summary of your product reviews. It works wonders for non-branded searches because your listing stands out and builds that initial trust with the user. If you rarely get any natural feedback, then write some 5-star reviews yourself and let the schema do its job. Google doesn't really know the difference, but make sure you don't go overboard with the fake reviews as they are against Google's policies. The FAQ schema adds a collapsible Q&A section to your product or category pages. This is extremely useful if you sell innovative products or products where the users might have some obvious pre-purchase questions. For example, if you sell pillows for neck pain, then these could be the first concerns of your customers. Most SEOs shy away from UI and UX because we are obsessed with surface level elements like meta tags, internal links, etc. The functionality of your website doesn't just influence how users interact with your pages. It directly impacts how Google ranks those pages. As a search engine, Google wants to satisfy the searcher's intent in the best possible manner. That's why their recent updates reward websites with helpful content, not necessarily the longest or the most detailed content. But what about product and collection pages? The search intent is slightly different here. It not only means providing all the specs and images of the product, but presenting them in the most user-friendly manner. Most of your traffic consists of window shoppers who are never going to buy, but your ability to satisfy them directly impacts your Google rankings. If they visit your site and then go back to a competitor, you lose a point there. That's why you need all your commercial pages to be highly functional and informative. Online marketplaces like Amazon and Flipkart do a pretty good job at this. You'll find all the high quality photos, detailed specs, product reviews, etc. Even their category pages have just the right set of filters for each product range. That's why you will often find them ranking even higher than the manufacturer itself. Here's a list of elements to improve your product pages. And this is for your collection pages. Also consider using a heat map solution like Microsoft Clarity or Hotjar. It records your user sessions so that you can recognize patterns and improve your pages to serve your audience better. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to subscribe for more such videos.